everyone, welcome to LexTalk World Talk Show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have Mr. Devashish Jagirdar with us. Mr. Jagirdar is a first generation lawyer from Mumbai. He graduated from Indian Law Society Law College, Pune in 2014 and was the vice president of the Debating Society in 2010. He won the billing drafting competition organized by NMIMS in 2014. He then started his practice with Jayakar and Partners under Solicitor and Senior Managing Partners with Mr.Mohan Jayakar. He represented Money Ratna Corporation, supply chain services, power sector companies before various courts in civil and criminal proceedings. This experience shaped him for a role in Saregama for strategizing litigations and infringements, and now he's working with Sun TV networks. So, without any ado, let me introduce you all to him. Hello, Mr. Jagirdar. Welcome to the talk show. How are you
Hi,
doing
hi.
today?
I'm doing good.
Nice to hear, sir. It's our pleasure to have you on board with us.
The
I
pleasure is
tried
equal.
my best to cover as much as information that I have shared with you. I hope that was amazing.
It was.
Amazing. So, Mr. Jagadar, we're gonna start this by asking a small information that we need from you. If you can tell us something about a complex legal issue that you have worked on, and also if you can describe the complexity and tell us how you have approached it.
So I won't name the clients, but there was at one point of time an issue that required deferring litigation for a client. So as a defendant, when you are deferring litigation, either ways you're affecting the court process, but you're in that sense finding loopholes in how the court matters would proceed. Like, for example, in the case of Sanjay Dutt, every time he made an appeal for bail, the entire trial stopped, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, giving a parallel to that in a civil proceeding, when I was working as an advocate, there was a matter in the simplest fora of all, the consumer forum, and we already had lost the matter in the district forum, which is the first court of evidence. After which there is a state forum and then national forum, which appeals then go to in that sense the Supreme Court. So the idea was to defer this litigation. The idea was to, in that sense, not get this order affected on us. So every time a new round of litigation started, as far as appeals is concerned, as far as the Supreme Court matters is concerned, we tried our best to defer the issue. But the complexity of it was uh, that there is something called as the Maharashtra Apartment Act, which
Mm-hmm.
requires execution of deeds of apartment for a condominium. When you're living in a condominium in Mumbai, you need to have this. So this is the parallel to Societies Registration Act for a cooperative housing society. So, the idea was we want to do it, we're ready and willing to do it, but there was another factor unexplored, unmentioned in the proceeding, which is the reason it had to be delayed. So, as a defendant or as an appellant, when the order is against you, your idea is you need to get more time with appeals after appeals. So, 2013 the matter started, and 2018 we were in the Supreme Court. Even after the matter was clearly explained to the national fora, we required an appeal because sadly the courts in this country do not understand a complex issue like this from the side of the deferrer. Why is he deferring it? So in the Supreme Court, even after we had sought clarity of the National Forum order, we were back to the execution court, which again we deferred. So understand the layers of any litigation. First it's a trial, then it's an appeal, then it's a Supreme Court appeal. Then you go back to the execution court, that is a district court, where the issues also arise. So uh, the idea during these proceedings was that you find loopholes in the system or in your proceedings so as to defer it, and in that sense explore more and more as far as why this cannot be done, what is my issue with it. Now this issue required an execution of a document which requires information. This information couldn't have been made by me. it was to be given to me by the complainant. This information he wasn't giving me in the entire proceedings. Although it was our prerogative to really sign it and execute it, the information was required, which would then decide the area of the flats and
Okay.
what exactly was the area way back when the apartments were built. Now these complainants had done some extra work which was not really in that sense approved.
Mhm.
So the way this helped me is you tackle the hidden work, the hidden reason that they have initiated the litigation, and then defer it to your advantage. So this was very complex. I cannot share details of the matter or everything, but this ultimately
Understand.
did become a reported judgment of the Supreme Court, which is one of the reasons LexTalk selected me for this.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jagadhar, for bringing this up, and thank you so much for your honest review that how the issues come in the legal industry, and what the best part is that we have to find the loopholes to proceed further. So, thank you so much for your honest review in this. But, Mr. Jagadhar, one thing that we would really want to understand from you is, especially after the post-COVID, after the pandemic, we saw many changes happened in the legal industry
True,
in
very
terms
true.
of judgments, in terms of hearings, in terms of decisions. We experienced many changes that have been happened so far.
Correct.
So, since after the pandemic, one of the biggest or one of the drastic change was that we saw courts being moved towards remote proceeding and availability. Now, do you think that is this sustainable, and how or what's the possible way to increase justice in India?
So let me tell you something. Courts in India were, I won't say in that sense equipped to go for this, but at least the higher courts were. The
Okay.
issue was of the need for it.
Mm-hmm.
COVID demanded the need for it and the stubbornness for it to be implemented. Today, understand before the pandemic, also each and every, at least the high courts and the metropolitan region courts had a video conferencing system.
Mm-hmm.
They all had systems where a where a where a deponent from the US can depose. Understand? In a family court in Bombay too, I have seen this, and I say
Okay.
this, and I say this conviction because this has happened before that a person cannot come to court. COVID restricted that to an advocate approaching court also because of the proximity and the reason this entire COVID had that impacted us. Just give me 1 second.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Yeah. Start.
so what exactly happened was that because of COVID, lawyers were forced to sit in their homes and approach justice. Now, the idea of Zoom, the idea of all these Cisco implementing all of these ideas really benefited them. However, we already have a national informatics center that should have done this earlier, but they didn't.
Mhm.
So when we say that it became easier to approach justice, I deny that because although courts could implement that very fast, every lawyer required to update his system altogether. And in a time of COVID, you cannot update your hardware that well. So although I don't think it affected metropolitan region lawyers, it did affect other regions very badly. There were lawyers without job and everything. But
Okay.
but today, as we approach the post-pandemic era, and let's not call it another COVID that has really
Mhm.
launched again the B7 virus.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I personally think courts still are that far away for litigant because of the cost that comes within it. It becomes advantageous today for a judge. Actually, no, it becomes advantageous for an advocate today because he can also appear in Bombay, in Delhi, in Chennai, in Calcutta at the same house that he's sitting in. So that
Absolutely.
time is saved. Now, second, we come to the fact that filing and everything got advanced. We could send emails. We can send emails today, upload documents today. So this This should have happened earlier. Mind you, in different countries, it is still it was implemented for a very earlier time. You could file petitions online. In the US, you could do this way back from 2015. Like entire petitions should be filed online, entire depositions could be done online. COVID thankfully forced us into this, and
Mhm.
it's been done for the good. I am happy to share that some courts in India also today are reporting the entire court proceedings, which will bring transparency in the legal system going forward, and a common man would know, okay, fine, this is what is happening in court today. Not the unexplored or the raw things that we see in Bollywood with enough masala,
Mhm.
where court proceedings are explained in a very unfathomable way.
Yeah.
But either so, in conclusion, my point is that post pandemic, what helped was everyone's need arose for a better system,
Mhm.
which I think nature would have done at best.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much again, sir, for this beautiful analysis, for your honest review. Now, since you mentioned on one thing that yes, there were some changes made with the lawyers and with the judges in terms of hearings and proceeding further with the cases. So, since we all know that yes, the changes have been made. So, currently, like, how would you rate the current legal system drive towards encouraging access to justice? And is there a tangible movement in closing the justice gap, if you feel so?
So let me tell you something.
Mhm.
I started this interview by telling you how we differ matters.
Absolutely.
This is where we advocates go wrong. This is
Okay.
where uh, justice system faces that uh, gap. So today, laws in this country require to be simplified.
Okay.
Forget having a easier access to justice, but laws are too many.
Hmm.
For one simple act of smoking in a car, there are four different laws. And
Okay.
even if you get caught today, ideally you would get a fine of 10,000, but you end up paying 2,000 rupees as an official receipt.
Absolutely.
So, as something as simple as this just could be prohibited, or could be, in that sense, allowed with a certain amount of punishment. So laws in this country require a very a desperate need for simplification rather than too many complex issues arising. A simple another analysis would be 2015, when the entire amendment to Arbitration Conciliation Act came along. The retrospectivity of it was never discussed. It came in 2018. Why did they take 3 years to understand this? Why did the courts in India go through six different judgments from six different courts to even interpret it differently? It should have been done at the initial stage where you just
Absolutely.
say, fine, this is not applicable. Fine, this is applicable. So there are many such laws. In fact, it would be without mentioning that there was a kite law also, which was implemented by the British, which is now no longer a law. So the new government is trying to exhaust all these laws, which is a good step. However, at the same time, we are in desperate need of clarification, and that would come, say, with Uniform Civil Code when it really gets implemented, or with something like a simple justice system. So you either access it online altogether or
Mhm.
offline altogether. Today, that clarity is also not there.
Okay.
So, and asking about rating the justice system, no system in the world is perfect.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's not go American over here. Let's not even defer Singapore. Let's not even go for Eastern Asian countries, which, in that sense, some countries do not even have access to justice. So, justice is, in that sense, delivered when it is another right moment. And the complexity of the issues in today's day and age are so much that one cannot form an opinion that early. Law needs to enable that.
Absolutely.
Today, that should happen. So, without commenting on the rating, and I
Mhm.
think there is a very big scope of improvement, I'm saying that justice system needs to be simpler. But
Yeah.
then again, what would lawyers do then? That is the question.
Absolutely. Oh, right. And it's really nice. So really nice the way you expressed the current system legal drive and the way you mentioned that yes, this is something that we all are working for. This is something really amazing, sir. But one thing that we all want to understand, and since you've been, you've been one of the legal representative for many years now, you have worked in both the versions. Like before the era, before the COVID, there were situations where everything was working on a paper basis. Like paper
Correct.
responsibility was more. After pandemic, after COVID, what we have experienced is that everything is moving more towards the digitization.
Correct.
There are virtual transactions here happening, virtual data have been coming more to the picture. So especially talking about the era of legal technology, what are the most important, most commonly tools available for you or your firm use?
So what I was initially also impressed with, and I stand impressed with, is the portal that the Indian government, that is the NIC, has built for
Hmm.
the access for a common man to judgments or to orders of the court. That has been, I think, a very big pioneer project where you're connecting courts also, and any normal person who knows the number of his case or the number of his FIR or the matter or the act involved in this case can, let's not say very easily, but can access that order. Today, if I am working as an in-house lawyer and I want to check whether my reporting attorney has really gone to court and what has exactly happened, all I need to do is access that portal and get the information done. So this technology, although it is a bit complex to use,
Hmm.
has played a major role as far as my practice on the pre-COVID area is concerned. Post-COVID, I think, which is something that has really helped the legal system, you know, for people to reduce. I'm an environmentalist. I do not want to cut trees. I do want to save paper. So I mean, I've been printing back to backs from day one, but we waste a lot of paper. So post COVID, what has happened is the idea of reading a petition on a screen, on an iPad, on a tablet has been encouraged, has been in that sense inbuilt with a person now appearing in court. He makes notes on those on the
Absolutely.
iPads. We, in fact, ultimately exchange documents only or email now.
Yeah.
But even then, a petitioner has to come down to a lawyer's office and physically sign the petition. This hasn't reduced yet. The day we go in the digital era of accepting digital signatures,
Hmm.
and it becomes much more promising as far as protection of privacy is concerned, I think we have done it.
So is it on the cards that yes, we are planning to get the petition signed on the digital era instead of having a paper thing?
So contracts which are not IP based, yes, you can digitally sign them. Contracts which do not have licensing involved in them, you can sign them, for example. But even today, if you're registering for your apartment for a
Hmm.
rent or anything, that is also can be done through an Aadhaar and like
Yeah.
fingerprints basically.
Fingerprints. Yeah.
So we are going back to the era of working with our fingers,
Yeah.
and identifying yourself with fingers.
Okay, amazing, sir. Amazing. Thank you so much for a beautiful response regarding the technology. Just one thing on a personal note, want to understand from you is that, uh, do you like technology is helping more post COVID,
Correct.
right? In every sense, right?
Uh,
Or there are
so
some issues with the
so
same as well.
because I was working for as a person who was in the infringement claims team in an organization Saregama.
Mm-hmm.
So technology has also enabled a lot of scamsters. Technology has also enabled a lot of people who to without any unruly manner use IP to in that sense fraud conduct a lot of fraud online, because everyone went online
Yeah.
and anyone can hide under the guise of a computer in anywhere in the world and can in that sense fool you. So I think as we progress towards solving problems, even
Mhm.
more problems emerge, because the kind of virtue human has, I think we are problem solving, but
Yeah,
we are creating too, because
absolutely.
that the idea of technology helping us is less than technology hampering us even today.
Yeah. So,
Take the case of OTT applications.
yeah.
Although everything got you to home, there
Mhm.
are hundreds of millions of sites which can give you free access to these OTT applications, and you can actually see the movie that you were to see on an OTT
Exactly.
application and pay $60 for a month free of cost.
Exactly, exactly. Really good. So thank you so much for bringing out this one of the most trending, one of the most demanding topic in the legal fraternity, that how the changes have been made. Every one of us is talking about the best side about moving towards the digitalization, but no one has talked much about what are the challenges we are actually facing. So thank you so much for your honest review, and thank you so much for bringing this into. One more thing that we would really want you to tell us on a personal note is, every one of us believe in this phrase. One of the most beautiful phrase in this era is time is money in any profession. But after talking, since we are dealing with lawyers, after talking to many lawyers, what we have understood that in legal industry, in legal fraternity, this phrase is used a lot. So
It
how do
is.
you, being a best lawyer, being the best at your time as a lawyer, utilize your time? And is there any specific remark you would want to share with all of us?
So time is money. It's true, because when you approach a senior advocate, you have to get an appointment for an hour, and the hourly rate for such a thing is fixed. I
Yeah,
learned this during my internship. So understanding this came tough, that if a lawyer is spending an hour with you and giving you legal advice, why is 20 lakhs required for it? So you know it becomes a goal in your life that your hour should count as 20 lakhs. however
absolutely.
however the entire idea of time, I mean, as per, I am a sci-fi fan in that sense. So time is in that sense relative. For me, that 1 hour would in that sense feel like 5 minutes, because he would speak the same opinion that even I knew. But since my client wants that opinion from him, he would consume that 1 hour.
Absolutely.
So, so for me, time is relative. Time would be different as far as spending on a matter is concerned, as far as spending on justice is concerned, as far as going to court and physically being there is concerned. One should save time, because if you save time, you will save money.
Absolutely.
And one should always invest in yourself. Keep time for yourself. So earlier, when I was working as an advocate, sometimes you had to go to office on Sundays. Sometimes you have to go to office on Sunday evenings, because Monday there's a matter. You have to go out session on Monday. So you have to get in a flight on a Sunday evening. So your time spent in that sense recharging your battery is not available.
Mhm.
You need that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You need to save time to have more time and to have more money. I think I would end on that, because after the pandemic, I have had my Saturdays and Sundays, which has really helped me to recharge on a Monday level.
Amazing, sir. Amazingly responded to the question. And yes, you are right. And then in terms of anything, especially in terms of the legal industry, where every person is occupied, even in matters, even in the personal life, social life, everything is involving a lot. So me time is highly required so that the person can charge himself or herself for the next level battles that the person has to fight.
In
So
fact, I would add
thank you.
one more thing.
Uh-huh.
Uh, uh, Many people often debate that why should judges get a vacation. I think judges deserve a vacation,
Mhm.
because every judge, before coming to court, at least reads 30 files minimum. 30 files, each file having minimum 100 to 100 pages. And that burden he takes before he sits on that judge chair. So I think vacations, judges deserve vacations, especially magistrate level and senior level judges who are working tirelessly to finish the burden that is on the legal system. So yes, even judges need to recharge, and if they remain recharged, they will dispose of more cases.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Jagardar, for such beautiful insights, for the honest answers, for the honest reviews, I would say, and bringing your personal reviews to everything. That really helped a lot of us to understand more about the legal industry, to understand more how the things goes, what challenges have been faced so far, what are we doing as a whole to reduce these challenges that we are facing on a day-to-day basis. So thank you so much for sharing such great insights with us. We look forward to have a chat with you again in future on some other trending topics, other demanding topics that we have in the international legal industry. As per now, for our viewers, if you really like this chat, so please subscribe, please like this video, and also, as I said, please subscribe to our Clickaway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do, how we do, and you have many more coming from the great industry leaders. This is Krish having a beautiful chat with Mr. Devashish Jagirdar. Thank you so much for your time. Signing off from Lex Talk.